I think there's someone in my house. You know, I've always viewed my home as a safe haven. It was the cozy spot where the creaky floorboards all added to its charm. But that all changed a few weeks back. It was a calm evening, and I was sprawled on the couch, engrossed in a book. Suddenly I heard something, footfalls coming from the hallway. I paused, my heart suddenly racing. I tried to brush it off as my imagination. After all, this old house had its weird little quirks that could easily play tricks on my mind. But then the footsteps came back, clearer this time, followed by the sound of something shifting. I put my book down and focused hard, blood pounding in my ears. This was real. I wasn't imagining things. Tentatively, I crept toward the hallway, the floorboards creaking as I stepped. The air around me felt cold, sending a shiver down my spine. I glanced toward the boiler room at the end of the hall. The door was ajar, as if something had just slipped out. I had always found that room a bit creepy, with shadows creeping in and a flickering light that cast odd shapes on the walls. It was a place I tried to avoid, but with the noises escalating, I felt I had to face whatever was hiding there. Mustering all the courage I had, I approached the door, my heart thumping loudly. I pushed it open and the hinges let out a creaky protest. For a split second, the light flickered off, and I held my breath, preparing for the worst. But when the light came back on, it revealed an empty room. Just the old boiler hissing quietly in one corner. Relief washed over me, but then I caught another sound, a soft rustle behind me. My heart raced as I turned, only to find it was the wind howling through a window. I let out a nervous laugh, trying to convince myself that my mind was just playing tricks. As the days went by, the footsteps only got louder. It felt like someone was pacing outside my bedroom at night. I'd lay in bed, heart racing, trying to ignore the repetitive sound that would echo in the quiet until I finally dozed off to restless sleep. One night, after a particularly loud thud, I snapped. I refused to let fear run the show anymore. Grabbing my flashlight, I set off down the hallway, ready to confront whatever was hiding in the shadows. "Come out," I whispered, hoping not to wake my parents, my voice shaking just a bit. All I got in return was that thick silence, weighing heavily in the air. I felt silly standing there, flashlight quivering in my grip. Just when I thought to turn back, I heard it again, a whisper of movement. I pointed the flashlight toward the sound, and it lit up the space under the stairs. That's when my heart dropped. A shadow flitted past, just out of reach of the beam. My instincts screamed for me to bolt, but a part of me wanted to know what was going on. I took a cautious step closer, my breath getting stuck in my throat. Out of nowhere, the shadow darted forward, and in a blink, I was face to face with something dark that had somehow slipped inside. It froze, eyes wide in surprise, before it vanished back into the darkness of my familiar home. I almost screamed, an icy wave of fear washing over me. Maybe those footsteps were more than just figments of my imagination. As I shuffled back to my room, I couldn't shake the feeling that my perception of my home had somehow changed. Even with the surprise encounter, I felt a new layer of unease creeping in. The whispers in the night would never feel the same again.